The Olympics. There's racing, swimming, basketball, boxing, high jumping. But what if I told you there was also death? Today we'll be checking out the worst Olympic deaths of all time.
First up, 1912 Stockholm Olympics.
Olympics. On July 14th, 1912, Portuguese marathon runner Francisco Lázaro lined up in Stockholm for what would become the deadliest marathon in Olympic history. The 21-year-old carpenter from Porto had trained in Portugal's moderate climate. At 1:45 p.m., temperatures reached 90 degrees Fahrenheit with oppressive humidity, making the 26-mile course a furnace of asphalt and dust. Before the race, Lázaro made a fatal decision. To protect himself from sunburn, he covered his entire body with a thick layer of beef fat and wax, creating what he believed would be protective coating against the sun's rays.
Okay, all right. Like, what? I get that it's 1912, right? And the science is, not really sciencing as hard as it is now. But bro, is that not going to just amplify the powers of the sun?
I think that it would save him from getting sunburned, but it'll probably make him really, really hot because it's essentially fat that he's putting on top of himself, which is going to insulate himself even more. So he's going to overheat and have a stroke, I think.
I wonder what happens too, like, because stuff gets absorbed into the skin. I wonder that can't be good either. Getting beef fat in your skin.
No, that's actually good for you.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he put so much that, like, do you know how if you, like, paint your whole body, that's actually terribly bad for you and you could die because your glands can't sweat?
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
So that could be it.
Yeah. So I think he's going to overheat. It's not like it's not going to amplify the burning of the sun, but it's just going to make him super hot and he won't be able to sweat. Yeah.
He's closing up every pore.
Looks like he's covered in pee and like a
he
cool
had sealed
jacket
his
from
skin
Versace.
in a waterproof barrier that would prevent his body from cooling through perspiration. As the 69 runners began the marathon, Lázaro started conservatively, running alongside competitors from Sweden, Finland, and South Africa. The early miles passed without incident, but as runners moved through the Swedish countryside, the sun climbed higher and temperatures continued rising. By halfway, several runners had collapsed from heat exhaustion and been pulled from the course. Lázaro continued despite showing early signs of distress. His breathing became labored, and sweat accumulated beneath the waxy coating, unable to evaporate and cool his body. At the 18.6-mile mark, witnesses reported that Lázaro was staggering and appeared confused.
He's almost
Classic
down.
symptoms of heat stroke. His core body temperature was rising dangerously as his cooling system failed completely. With just 5 miles
the fat
remaining,
off your body.
Lázaro collapsed suddenly on the dusty road near Södertälje. Spectators rushed to his aid, finding him unconscious and burning with fever. His skin was pale and clammy beneath the melted wax coating. Swedish medical personnel transported him to Serafimer Hospital in Stockholm, where doctors worked frantically to lower his body temperature. Despite their efforts,
wax out of there.
Lázaro never regained consciousness. He died the following morning from heat stroke and dehydration, becoming the first athlete to die during Olympic competition.
Who told him that was a good idea? Was it his coach or did he come up with that himself?
Back in the day, I think it was just probably like a old wives' myth, right? Like they were like, oh yeah, just rub your body in beef fat, like it'll help.
What?
Here's probably what happened. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually works for sunburn. And that's why he put it on, was so that he doesn't get sunburned. But people probably don't put that on and then go run a million miles. They probably put that on and then just go outside and not strain themselves. So no one probably knew yet that it actually clogs up your pores and makes it so that you can't sweat, thus overheat. So it probably works for what people intended to use it for, but it probably doesn't, it definitely doesn't work for cooling off the body. I gotta say though, obviously that's a really sad story, but it is kind of motivating. Like, bro literally ran until he died. That is like the most determination of all time. That is insane.
David Goggins would listen to that story and he'd say, stay hard.
Yeah, he is the David Goggins of David Gogginses.
His death led to new safety protocols for marathon races, including mandatory water stations and temperature monitoring.
I also just looked it up, and beef fat does not protect you from the harsh rays of the sun.
Dude, what?
Well, then I'm out of ideas.
2010 Vancouver Olympics.
Vancouver Olympics. On February 12th, 2010, Georgian luger Nodar Kumaritashvili was making his final practice run on...
Adam, what was his name?
Do not. This is serious. Don't even test me.
Oh, is that him?
Run on the
I like
Whistler
it better when
Sliding
it's
Center
really
track,
old and we don't get
just
pictures.
hours before the Vancouver Winter Olympics opening ceremony.
Yeah, this was not
the
that long
21-year-old
ago.
athlete had trained his entire life for this moment, following his father and uncle, who had both represented Georgia in Luge.
Oh, wow.
The Whistler track was notorious as the fastest and most dangerous in the world. with speeds regularly exceeding 93 miles per hour on its 4,480-foot
The Luge is
During
no
training
joke.
weeks, several athletes had crashed, raising safety concerns. Italian luger Armin Zögler had publicly criticized the track's design, calling it too fast and dangerous. Romanian racer Violeta Stramturaru had suffered a concussion after losing control, and several others had experienced crashes.
Bro, I don't understand, like, why would they continue with the race if all these people are getting injured? I get that it's supposed to be, like, an extreme sport, right? So, like, there is a risk involved. But if so many people that are the best of the best, these are professionals that are supposed to be awesome at their sport, if they're getting injured, like, you're just setting yourself up for more injuries.
I get both sides here, though, because it is the Olympics. It's supposed to be the best, you know? The absolute best, doing the hardest thing imaginable.
It should still, like, have some safety precautions, though.
It definitely does have some safety precautions, but it was just like...
This ain't X Games, bro. They are not on X Games.
The Olympics is on, like, it's like a safer version of what people used, like, to watch, like, the gladiators fight it out. Like, we're watching for the excitement of people doing
greatness.
super
we want to see
rare
greatness. That's
and
what
crazy
we want to
risky
see.
things.
I watch Red Bull on YouTube if I want to see that. If I want to see the best of the best, battle it out for who's the best of the best. However they do it. We watch in track, we watch them all run in one direction, bro. It's about who's fastest, right? It doesn't matter about the slips and the curves and the blah, 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 blah.
I think a healthy mix, like there needs to be danger, but it can't be so dangerous that people are dying and like regularly getting hurt from it.
Right. Like imagine in track and field if they were like, all right, we're gonna release a rhinoceros and then everybody's got to run.
There's a sport for that with a bull.
I would watch
people
that,
like
though.
to see that with the red cape and the bull. That sounds awesome.
That's not in the Olympics yet.
Damaged their equipment.
Anyway, what happened?
At 4:44 p.m., Kumaritashvili began his run from the men's start position, lying on his back on the small sled as he accelerated down the icy track. The first several turns passed normally as his speed increased. By the track's most challenging section, he was traveling at approximately 90 miles per hour, well within normal range for experienced luger.
You guys have seen this, right? Like you've watched it in the Winter Olympics?
Is this bobsledding?
No, bobsledding is with a whole team.
Okay.
This is solo.
Solo mission.
Okay.
Do you guys, should we watch a video of like how fast it is?
No, I think I've seen it before. Yeah, it is absurd. And like one thing that's like really boggling my mind is like in a car, if you go 90 miles an hour, that's freaking fast, bro. You're like, and if you crash, you're probably gonna die, and you still have like the airbags that go off and the car to defend you. In this, you're going 90 miles an hour. If you crash, you have nothing.
Against lugers. As Kumaritashvili approached turn 15, known as 50-50, something went wrong with his steering. Video analysis showed his sled began drifting slightly left toward the outer wall. He attempted to correct by applying pressure with his right leg, but the adjustment came too late and was too aggressive. His sled suddenly shot up the banking of turn 16, launching him into the air like a projectile. He was thrown from the sled at over 87 miles per hour, flying several yards before striking a steel support pillar.
He's a torpedo.
The impact was horrific,
That's a car crash.
causing massive trauma to his head and chest. Medical personnel reached him within minutes and attempted CPR, but the injuries were unsurvivable. He was pronounced dead at Whistler Healthcare Center at 5:50 p.m., just hours before the opening ceremony. Track modifications were immediately implemented, including higher walls and padding around steel supports.
And they still did it too, by the way. They still did the same race. They just added extra safety precautions.
Dude, they put pads on the steel poles like off the track just in case the next couple people went flying off of the track. How about shut the track down?
Do a different track.
Well, people train for 4 years. They trained for so long to do that. They're not going to cancel it.
After someone dies?
It's a whole event. There's so much money. Every country, they only have one opportunity. If they shut down the track.
But Adam, if you go to a race, right? Like, let's say you're a part of that race, and a professional dies doing the exact same race that you're doing, would you still do that race the next day? No!
I would.
There's no way.
I would.
What about a slide? Okay, you're at a theme park and there's a slide that's really cool. And you're like, oh, that's a cool slide. Look at how cool it is. And someone dies there the day before. You're telling me that you would still go on that slide?
No, that's
it's the same thing.
It's not. If I'm doing that race, I trained for my entire life to do this one competition.
So did he. So did the dude that flew off. That wasn't a noob. That wasn't a random dude. That dude also trained his whole life to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They prioritize keeping the show going over making necessary changes that would not put people's lives in danger.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
No, they increase the side.
Yeah, but like
No, they did. Nobody else died.
They're lucky. They're lucky, or I would have got them. That would have started a revolution.
What? All right, next up, we got 1992, the Albertville Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympics.
I'm starting to realize the Winter
February
Olympics are the dangerous
1992,
ones.
Swiss speed skier Nicolas Bochetet was preparing for a routine training run at Val d'Isère during the Albertville Winter Olympics. The 27-year-old athlete was in France for a demonstration event showcasing speed skiing, where skiers reach speeds exceeding 125 miles per hour.
This has to be the most dangerous sport in the world, right? Skiing or snowboarding, like that, where they fly into the air at 120 miles an hour, then have to land on a slope. That is the most dangerous sport. It has to be.
That or skateboarding, which is kind of like the same sort of thing.
Yeah, or like the people that's like the skateboarding, but down like a huge hill.
Yeah.
Whew.
Bochetet was experienced, but not among the sport's elite competitors. On this morning, Bochetet decided to take a casual recreational ski run on regular slopes, away from the speed skiing course. He wasn't wearing specialized speed skiing equipment, instead using standard alpine gear for what was meant to be a relaxing warm-up. Weather conditions were good, with clear skies and well-groomed slopes. At approximately 10:30 a.m., Bochetet was skiing down an intermediate slope when he encountered an unexpected obstacle. A snow grooming machine was working on the slope to maintain snow conditions. These massive vehicles, weighing several tons with powerful engines and wide tracks, are commonly used to prepare and maintain slopes. What happened next remains partially unclear, but witnesses reported that Bochetet appeared to lose control or misjudge his line as he approached the grooming machine. Whether due to momentary lapse in concentration, equipment malfunction, or miscalculation, he was unable to avoid the massive vehicle. At his traveling speed, even on an intermediate slope, there was no time for evasive maneuvers once he realized the danger. Bochetet collided with the rear of the snow grooming machine with tremendous force, suffering massive traumatic injuries that proved immediately fatal. The impact was so severe that survival was impossible, despite immediate response from resort personnel and medical teams. His death sent shockwaves through the Olympic community and speed skiing world, leading to increased safety protocols for demonstration events and stricter guidelines for athlete and resort operations interaction during Olympic Games.
Oh, dude, that is tragic. That is so sad.
That reminds me of one winter when I was going down hills. We probably would only get to like 20 to 30 miles an hour, but there was this, on the hill, it's all clear except for this one sign. This one wooden sign was kind of towards the end of it. And like everybody knew that the sign was there, so everyone was like going left and right. But there was this one group that was like right at the sign, and we're like, it's probably pretty easy to avoid, but at the same time, it's like a magnet for those types of things. So this grandma was going down the hill, and she wasn't even closer, but she started going like crooked like that. So she was on a beeline, and she was clearly a rookie. She didn't know which way to control it. So it tracked the entire time, and boom, she banged right into the wooden side, and then paramedics had to come to take her out. It was really sad. She slammed into it like 35 miles an hour.
Oh my God, that's crazy, dude.
She was down quick. She was down right to the ground.
And she wasn't even in the Olympics.
No, she was just going out. She was having a good time sledding down.
Was she okay?
I don't. They pulled her off on a stretcher. I actually didn't even check for updates. I don't know. Next up, 1960 Rome Olympics.
1960 Rome Olympics.
What is that?
On August 26, 1960, Danish cyclist Knud Enemark Jensen lined up for the 62-mile team time trial at the Rome Olympics, unaware he was about to become the first athlete to die from drug use during Olympic competition.
What?
The 23-year-old was part of Denmark's four-man cycling team, competing in the grueling road race under scorching Italian sun, with temperatures reaching 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
Getting cooked like a pepperoni.
Jensen had been taking Roniacol, a blood circulation stimulant legal at the time, but later banned due to dangerous side effects.
It was legal at the time,
especially when combined with extreme exertion and heat. The medication was commonly used by endurance athletes who believed it improved performance by increasing blood flow, but its effects in hot conditions were poorly understood. At 2 p.m., the Danish team began racing from Terme de Caracalla, with Jensen taking his turn at the front as they battled oppressive heat and the challenging course through Roman countryside. The team time trial required all four cyclists to work together, maintaining high speeds throughout the 62-mile distance. For the first hour, Jensen appeared to handle conditions well, rotating through the pace line and maintaining the rapid tempo necessary for Olympic competition. However, as the race progressed and afternoon heat intensified, Jensen began showing distress that teammates initially attributed to normal racing fatigue. His pedaling became less smooth, and he struggled to maintain position during his front turns. By the 54-mile mark, with just 8 miles remaining, Jensen was clearly in trouble. His teammates noticed he was weaving slightly and seemed disoriented, but encouraged him to continue rather than recognizing developing medical emergency signs.
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell right there. Again, they train for so long, and it's like you in your mind, if I'm one of those three in the back, I think I'm just pushing him. Like, I'm pushing him so that the whole team can finish.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like, I don't go on runs often, guys, but I used to when I was younger with my brothers. And we would push each other to keep going, keep going, keep going. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah, I wonder what is going through his head. Yeah. Because he's the only one that really knows, like, how messed up he's feeling. So I guess he also thought he could keep going if he didn't stop.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even if you are feeling really bad, like, I'm sure we've all gone on runs or done cardio to a point where we're probably like, wow, I feel like I'm going to die. You've never went on a run before, but you're like, holy crap, like, I feel like I'm going to die if I keep going.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, you keep going anyway. You just keep going.
This is the extreme of the extreme, Alec.
Exactly. But my point is, like, he was probably in that state where he was like, wow, this sucks. I feel like I'm going to die, but I'm going to keep going because there's no way that I actually die, right?
And if he stopped, he would have had to let his whole team down, too.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm sure he would have rather have stopped.
Well, yeah.
5 miles remaining,
to your body,
Jensen
guys.
suddenly collapsed while riding, falling from his bicycle onto hot asphalt. His teammates and race officials immediately stopped to assist, finding him unconscious with severe heat stroke signs. His body temperature was dangerously high, breathing labored and irregular. Italian medical personnel transported Jensen to a Rome hospital, where doctors worked to lower his body temperature and stabilize his condition. Despite their efforts, Jensen died several hours later from heat stroke, exacerbated by the circulation stimulant. The autopsy revealed that roniacol, extreme heat, and intense exertion had overwhelmed his body's temperature regulation ability, leading to the first serious Olympic drug testing discussions.
It's kind of sad because a lot of the people so far in this list were kind of like guinea pigs for other people, right? So like they died as a learning lesson almost, so now other people don't have to go through the same thing.
Yeah. That's kind of like all of these death videos that we watch, like with the roller coaster stuff and the caves. Like, somebody has to die in order for something to actually change. Which, I mean, it makes sense, but it's sad. All right, next up, 1964.
Innsbruck Winter Olympics. On January 25th, 1964, Australian alpine skier Ross Milne was training on the downhill course at Paterkofel Mountain above Innsbruck, preparing for the Winter Olympics beginning in days. The 19-year-old from Sydney was one of Australia's most promising young skiers, representing his country despite limited access to world-class training facilities and snow conditions at home. Milne had arrived weeks early to acclimatize to challenging European racing conditions and familiarize himself with the Olympic downhill course, known for its technical difficulty and high speeds. The Paterkofel downhill was considered one of the most challenging courses on the international circuit, featuring a vertical drop of over 2,850 feet and sections where skiers routinely exceeded 81 miles per hour. The course included several technical sections with sharp turns and elevation changes, demanding precise technique and split-second timing. During his training run, Milne was skiing at racing speed through the upper section when he encountered a particularly challenging sequence of turns requiring precise line selection and expert technique. Snow conditions were firm and fast, typical for World Cup-level racing, but unforgiving for any technical errors. As Milne approached a sharp left-hand turn at high speed, something went wrong with either his equipment or technique, causing him to lose control of his skis. In Olympic-level downhill, the margin for error is virtually zero, and once a skier loses control at racing speeds, recovery becomes nearly impossible. Video footage showed Milne attempting to regain control as his skis...
They had video back then? Yeah, 1964, yeah. Okay. It feels like forever ago.
It's probably not great quality, but I guess that there's some. I do not want to watch it, by the way, so don't even suggest it.
Do not want to watch that either. That is pretty bad.
His skis drifted wide of the intended racing line. Fighting to bring his skis back under control, he was carried off the prepared racing surface to trees bordering the course. At his estimated speed of over 62 miles per hour, the impact with trees was catastrophic. Milne struck several large pine trees sequentially, suffering massive trauma that proved instantly fatal.
How did one not stop him?
And medical personnel reached the accident site within minutes, but survival was impossible given impact severity. His death shocked the Olympic community and led to improved downhill course safety measures, including wider safety margins between racing lines and obstacles, better protective barriers, and more rigorous course inspection procedures still used in international ski racing.
Like, obviously, we know, because hindsight is 2020, that all of these things are necessary. But, like, I guess before then, nobody thought about that? Nobody thought, like, oh, like, somebody could make a sharp turn and they'll go towards the trees. We should maybe protect people from that. Nobody did that.
So, well, they probably thought that what they had in place was good enough. Like, for example, they just made safety precautions. But what if somebody else dies now? Even after their extra safety precautions, you would still have the same reaction, which is like, well, why would they not make the safety margins even wider? Why would they not add even more protective barriers? Well, they thought that what they've done now is good enough. And then until something goes bad is when they'll be like, okay, it's not good enough.
So how about this, guys? Hear me out. Everybody watching. Let's think that the worst possible thing is going to happen, and let's plan for that.
If we plan for that, then we're not even going to leave the gosh dang bedroom. The safest thing would be not go down a hill at 80 miles per hour. I mean, that's dangerous in itself. Do not go outside.
Write that down. That's why I stay inside where I'm safe.
Athens 2004 and Rio 2016.
A double whammy?
Olympic venue construction has claimed numerous lives, but Athens 2004 and Rio 2016 stand out for their tragic worker tolls. In Athens, the rush to complete venues created dangerous working conditions that proved fatal for multiple construction workers. On March 15, 2004, months before the Games, 45-year-old Dimitris Antonopoulos was working on the Olympic Stadium roof when safety cables failed. Antonopoulos fell 100 feet to his death while installing lighting equipment. The Greek government had delayed construction for years due to bureaucratic problems, forcing contractors to work around the clock to meet deadlines. Workers regularly worked 16-hour shifts without adequate rest, and safety protocols were often ignored. Another worker, 38-year-old crane operator Nikos Georgiou, died when his crane collapsed while lifting steel beams for the Aquatic Center on June 2, 2004. The crane operated beyond rated capacity due to construction acceleration pressure, and inadequate ground preparation caused the massive machine to tip over.
So for those of you guys watching that don't really know, like, why are they rushing to put this together? It is something that they find out about. There's like a bid for the Olympics, and if your place gets picked, you do not say no. You are like, yes, we will do whatever it takes to have the Olympics here, because it makes you tons of money. There are people from all over the world that will come to your place, they'll spend money, and they'll stay there, and it is just too good to turn down. So they rush everything, and they cut corners, and this is what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I actually didn't know that until recently, but Jack is super right. Even like the World Cup, for example, a country will bid like hundreds of millions of dollars to host it, knowing that they're going to get a lot of tourists who are going to buy a bunch of stuff, and then in the end, hopefully they'll make all of that money back and then some.
Yes. Speaking of the World Cup, Morocco, not to make this even sadder, but Morocco is killing thousands of stray dogs to prepare for the 2030 World Cup. They do not want stray dogs running around. Very sad.
We were in Morocco.
Wait, Morocco is where the next World Cup is?
The one in 2030.
They're killing the dogs now for the one in...
That's as soon as they figure it out, yeah, that they're locked in for 2030. Like, they're preparing now, 5 years in advance.
Wow.
Doggies.
Yep, sad stuff. So, the Olympics and the World Cup, they're fun, but there's a lot of downside to some of it.
Business. Business is business.
Business be booming, though!
Georgiou in the operator's cab. At least 4 construction workers died building Athens Olympic venues, with dozens more suffering serious injuries. The Rio 2016 situation was even deadlier, with Brazilian authorities acknowledging at least 11 construction worker deaths directly related to Olympic venues. On March 27, 2013, Anderson da Silva Santos was installing concrete forms at Olympic Park when a crane collapsed during high winds, killing Santos and injuring 4 others. The 440,000-pound crane operated in wind conditions exceeding safety guidelines due to schedule pressure. On April 3rd, 2014...
Bro, just like, imagine that. You are literally getting paid probably the equivalent of what, $5 US a day to work 16 hours a day, and then you die to a crane.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really, really sad.
Crazy, bro.
3rd, 2014, 2 more workers died when the Itacarão Stadium roof section collapsed during installation. Fabio Luis Pereira and Ronaldo Oliveira dos Santos were crushed by falling concrete and steel, victims of inadequate structural support. The most tragic incident occurred April 21, 2016, when a bicycle path built for Olympic cycling events collapsed into the ocean, killing 2 people. The elevated path over Guanabara Bay suffered from design flaws and construction shortcuts. Brazilian investigators revealed systemic problems, including substandard materials, inadequate safety training, and pressure to cut corners to meet deadlines and budget.
I would be scared to compete in these Olympic Games now, even more than before, because you going into it, you know that all these countries are cutting corners to make sure that it's there in time. So like, if I'm a bicyclist, how am I even supposed to know if this track is built right? Oh my God.
You might not. You're just trusting that the country did a good job building everything.
These deaths highlighted the human cost of hosting Olympics and led to improved international oversight of construction projects.
Well, guys, that is the worst Olympic deaths of all time. If you learned anything today, stay inside, don't go fast, don't put cheeseburger on your skin, and more importantly, click this video right here.
Keep watching videos, do not go outside.